You don't want wealth. You don't want wealth. We have a good example. Radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Salman al-Faris. He don't want any wealth. He left actually the kingdom of Persia. So he was a royal family. And he came to poor Saudi Arabia where people were suffering and all that, and he hung around with Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam as well as he could. Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the same. Was kidnapped from Africa, was enslaved, and he refused to give up this religion. He was tortured, punished, and he refused. Even if they did kill him, he didn't care. Sumayya, radiallahu ta'ala anha, she was the first person to be killed for Islam, being a Muslim. And the way she was killed was humiliation. The Quraysh, they thought that they can do this, so Muhammad will be shaken in his feet and he will abandon this religion. Because if anyone who follows him will be done to this, then he will be next. So he would get scared and stop the religion. Did he? No. Poverty hit Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam since birth. He was born to a world that woman was nothing, man were using their power, and he was born without a father and a brother, big brother. So just one woman, his mother, that's all he had. And she left him and returned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ridwanullah ta'ala anha, radiallahu ta'ala anha, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he was like 6 years old, I believe. So imagine that, being orphan, no parents, no father, nobody to be feared. So that means everybody had the opportunity to hurt him. Anyone who could do that would have done that, and they did it. So he was discriminated, not raised a way that a child would have been raised by his parents. I don't want to say some of the things, but one thing that always mind boggles me is like, why did he get married when he was 25? Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. All the other people at that time, they were getting married like when they were 15, they were getting married. That was the culture. So girls, when they were 13, I believe, they were getting married. Men, when they were 15, they were getting married. People give their daughters to someone who's respected, someone who's wealthy, someone who has good character and all that. You know, they look for quality and they look for a nasab. Nasab is called ethnicity and stuff like that. People, you know, divide themselves into classes, but in the eyes of Allah, there's only one class. That's those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worship Him. No different classes. But people, by nature, they divide among themselves in different classes. So why any of his uncles or grandparents or anyone related to him, a relative, did not give their daughter to him or find a wife for him? I'm sure that there are other children, they can get married at the right age. If we research it, we can find it out, but I haven't researched, but I'm using just common sense in this one. If I'm making a mistake, please forgive me and Allah forgive me. My intention is not to lie. So he waited until 25. He did not wait. He didn't want to wait, but he could not do it. He could not find. Possibly, he asked the hands of some girls. Possibly he was rejected, not given to him. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he reached the age of 25 to get married on his own by Khadija al-Kubra, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, radiyallahu ta'ala anha. So Khadija, she chose him, and he loved her. She loved him. They had a peaceful home. They had the first school. That's where Islam was taught. So, coming from that position, very disadvantaged, and then the Quraysh killing anyone who says that I believe in Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. I gave two examples. One was Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala anha. The other one was, and also of course I should not forget her husband. They made him watch his wife die in a horrible way, then killed him too, punished their son, Ammar. So Yasir radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the husband of Sumayya and the father of Ammar. That family suffered the first ravage of the Quraysh, the first anger of the Quraysh. They were punished, tortured, parents killed, and Ammar, Allah saved him and he did his best to save his life. Radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And he's one of the great Sahabis. Nobody talks about him. Most of the scholars, they don't focus. Most of the imams, they don't focus. Most of the khatibs, they don't focus on Ammar. I rarely hear about him. I rarely hear in the khutbah, sometimes his father. But the whole family was a perfect example, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them, Jannah is waiting for you guys. Be patient. As they were suffering the torture. So Ammar was not killed, was not tortured to death, but his parents were. And I'm talking about Muhammad, he's the subject, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. That's what's done to his believers, his followers. So what do you expect? He has no allies, no people to help him, no wealth, no power. And Quraysh did their best to make sure that he stays away from this matter. Did he? No. So he did not stay out of it. He stayed on it. That tells you that he is a true messenger. Otherwise, he could have chosen other paths, other things. Like, hey, okay, when the Quraysh came to him and say, we will give you anything you want, marry to you any woman that you want from the Quraysh. Now, leave this matter out of our lives. We don't want to hear about Islam. We don't want to hear about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And his answer was, look, you're talking about wealth and woman, bring the sun down to earth, which is impossible, and put on my right hand, give it to me, and the moon, bring to earth and put it on my left hand, give it to me, I will not leave this religion. This is haqq. This is true. So he stayed on the message in the year of elephant, 570. So my continuation was that people were waiting for guidance, light, mercy, teacher. So Muhammad became all of those in one. He was the verse that I mentioned, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And Allah said that we sent you for only nothing else but to be mercy to mankind. So people were suffering, we talked about that. So mercy, light, and a good teacher came the year of 570 after Isa alayhi salam. So 570 or 571. So some of the ulama, they say, oh, he was born the year of elephant and that was 570. Some people say, oh no, he was born the year of elephant, but it was 571. So he was born in the blessed city of Mecca, a child born who would change the course of history. That's Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He born in that day, in that city, and he already came with a lot of disadvantage. Orphan, poor, everything you want to name it. And he became the controller of Mecca, Meccatul Mukarram, without the blood. So his teachings, among his teachings, I cannot mention all of them, but the best thing Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was Khadija al-Kubra. The best thing from the life in this world. He loved her. She supported him 100%, and she was the first Muslim. The first Muslim. You see, this religion, for example, like our ulama, when they make dua, my dua at least have Khadija al-Kubra, Aisha Siddiq. My dua has. But most of the ulama, of course, I copied this dua from someone. I'm glad. But most of the ulama, when they make a dua, they say that the Sahaba, the Ansar, the Ashab, in general, and they name, if they name any by name, they name only the Khulafa Rashidin. I'm not discounting them. They did a great deal. They did a lot of work. But look at Khadija radiallahu ta'ala. She was the first Muslim. Look at Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala. She was the first person, shaheed. We say shaheed is higher reward, right? Jihad fi sabilillah. The first person that was killed for Islam was Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala. In our du'as, we don't mention. We mention the woman in general, but not in particular. We mention the men in particular and in general. For example, like the takbirat in the Eid, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. When we say the salawat, we start with Al Muhammad, which includes all the Muslims, including ourselves. Then we say Ashab Muhammad is the second. So those are the Sahaba. So they are included in the Al, and they are mentioned as secondary for Ta'deem, to give them higher status. And then Ansar, the third. The first is the Al, that's all of us, including the Sahaba, the Ansar, the Ahlul Bayt, everybody. Second is the Sahaba, third is the Ansar, fourth is the Azwaj, which is also part of the Al of Muhammad. Also they are Ahl of Muhammad. So they are included for a second time, in particular in Ta'deem. We are not included in the second part. We are included only the first one. Al, that's we are included. Then Ashab, then the Sahaba. Ansar, then we know the Ansar. Then the Azwaj, the last is the Dhurriyat Muhammad. So all his Ahlul Bayt is mentioned. Ahlul Bayt is your soldier and your Dhurriyah, your children. Right? Your wife and your children is your Ahlul Bayt, the people of your house. So, but if you say Al, my Al, they could be included, but your Al is your allies, those who believe and support and share the same value with you. So Al Muhammad is all of us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when we make the dua, we make in general, al-Muslimin wal-Muslimat, wal-Mu'minin wal-Mu'minat. Then we say sometimes the Sahaba, and in a separate way. Okay? So Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha was the